Hey everyone, welcome back to my latest solo trapping video. Today we'll be showcasing the updates from the previous update. They have rolled out, so these guys have finished their updates. So Speedy's going to test me out with his attack. He hit me before the update, so I have a pre-update hit, and this is going to be the post-update hit. He's going to hit what's called cav into my infantry. So he hit me in a gangbang before with XX and did X amount of damage, and we're going to see if he does a little bit more with the post-update and how much more damage he's actually doing, what this update is doing, and we'll go over all the update stuff and some of the perks and drawbacks of the update, obviously. So he hit me there. I didn't really drop much, and I was kind of wondering what was going on here because I'm pretty sure he dropped me a lot more before the update. And yeah, 298,000. That doesn't seem right. Like only 200,000 in my front line. My comp is just a little bit different than pre-update, just because when the gang made me, I lost some troops and I had to build some back. I lost about 400k. What's called cav, and I built about 400k more infantry, so that's kind of the difference. Same amount of troops, just a very slight change in my comp. You can see 2.4 in my front line there, and then 3.5 my back or my cav in the pre-update attack, and then post-update a little bit more. But yeah, he did way less damage. I was like, what was going on? He's like, oh, I forgot to change my gear. So he's like, oh, I'm like, okay, we got to do the test all over again because he wasn't in his war gear during that, so that's not a very good test there. So I did accidentally apply to XX again, so I have to withdraw there. I have to drop out of the guild just so he can hit me because I'm in the XX right now. So he's going to go in for another hit. This will be with his war gear on this time. He does have his war gear on, full mythic cav. He's around 780, I would say. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was 780. But he was telling me, and you can see how much damage he actually does. So he did quite a bit more damage that time. Yeah, he dropped me 575,000 with only a 780 cav blast. He does have double tier 5 familiar, so it's not like he's not, or does he only have one tier 5 familiar? He does have tier 5 familiars because you can see that when he is hitting me, he's hitting my backline as well. And his tier 5 familiar damage did go up a tiny bit, but I think that's only because the update does give a damage boost as well. I think that's a fury boost. But yeah, you can see he did 325,000 in the first hit and 137,000 to my backline. And in this one, he did, let's see, I think it was like 400 and something. We'll take a look at the report here. Yeah, he did 575, 436,000 my front line and 139,000 to my backline. Again, there was a 2,000 increase in the what's called tier 5 familiar damage, which I also saw when Mr. Cupid hits me here. So Mr. Cupid is going to test a non-counter or a I am full countering him in this one. We both accidentally dropped out of the guild. So that's why he's throwing up the emoji there, because we both dropped out. He went back into the guild there. So anyway, so he's going to test a range into my infantry and see if there's a big damage difference from the previous hit. I'm just going to tell him I'm ready. Yeah, I was pretty much ready anyways. I'm set up in my war gear and in my right phalanx. So he's going to go range. He has a 918% range blast, I believe. So huge range blast. He also has 11k heroes, tier 5 millers, all that good stuff. So he does hit really hard, but obviously if he gets countered, I was trying to see if there's a increase because my cav should be doing less damage to his range since he has all the updates done. So we'll take a look at it, see how much he did here. He was in his war gear for that. We saw that. So there's no mistake there. We'll take a look at the damage. He didn't drop me very much on this one. He did, what was it? Let's take a look. 204,000 my front line. So that's actually way less. I was thinking maybe it was because I added 400k tier 2 infantry, but it shouldn't make that much of a difference, honestly. 400k troops is not going to make a big difference, especially when I lost 400k troops as well, but it shouldn't make really that much difference because my, what's called, heroes and everything are the same. Only 400k troops. It's not going to make a ton of difference. Even if it's infantry, it should make a 70k difference. Like, it might make a 20k difference, but yeah, he did 271, so I don't even know what was going on there. His tier 5 familiar damage did go up 2k as well, so the exact same as Speedy's. So you can take a look at here. So this was the first cav hit, 325 to 436, so huge difference in a full counter. Then 271 to 200, which yeah, I get I have 400k more infantry, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. But we'll take a look at the rest of the reports as well. Yeah, so just taking a look at those reports, it was like a, I think, yeah, about a 30% increase on this one. This one was the 575. We'll take a look at his familiars. Yeah, he's got both tier 5 familiars, it looks like. And then he has the stacking ones and all that. So it's all the same, but so the only difference was basically I had a little bit less cav in this one, a little more infantry. Other than that, it was about a 30% increase in damage in the front line and about a well, I don't know what percentage that was. It was about 2k troops difference in the backline from the attack damage. So if we go look at the actual research, it'll kind of show you what that actually is, and we'll kind of go over what it means. So there was the Furious defense, which increases defense and battle fury up to 10%. Also HP, 10%. And then Furious offense, which increases your army attack by 10%. I think that 10% increased the tier 5 familiar damage by about 2k on my account based on your HP too. So so that was the difference there. Obviously, he got about 10% more attack, so he did about 2k more damage on his familiars. Both of them did almost the exact same increase on their tier 5 familiars, so I think that's pretty much basically across the board. We'll do. I mean, I could do more testing, but that's what I saw in this video. And then the counter boost here, so increases or damage by infantry units to enemy range units and decreases damage dealt by range units. So counters now do more damage and get less damage against them if you're countering. And in a mix, I was thinking that it would actually decrease my damage done to them overall because I have a mix setup. So if they send range, my calves should be doing less damage to them than it was before. But I guess the damage is so negligible that it actually almost did less damage because I switched my comp up by only 400k troops. So which is really interesting. So if you're wondering what a mix does against a blast that's not a counter, it really doesn't change much. It's only when they full counter you that you're going to get the huge amount of damage. So the same thing across the board here. And then there's also a familiar. So I believe the familiar is going to do the same thing. Taking a look, here is the Jade Worm familiar. So taking a look at the Jade Worm familiar here, it does have the counter on each of them up to 15%, and I believe that's the attack boost and the what's called attack reduction on the counter as well. It does say infantry counter boost, so I assume it doesn't mean just damage. I think it means damage and what's called reduction as well. So it's the same thing, just 15% more, and I think that there's only one familiar right now. Hopefully there isn't another one, because that might hurt an extra 30% or 60%. Again, they did not have the familiar, so they only had the counter boost there. So in this video, so it's not a whole thing. It's not like they had 60%, they only had the 30% from the research itself. The other awesome update was obviously the quick swap here. So I only had one quick swap before, and that was my war gear, but now I have 2 extra quick swaps to my construction gear and my war gear. So now I can just basically switch to my construction gear, switch to my war gear, back to my research gear, whatever I want. Apparently I don't have a research helmet. My war gear is my research helmet. So yeah, so construction gear, and then my what's called war gear here. So I might actually make a research helmet just so I can have an extra set that doesn't have my Queen Bee helmet in it. But yeah, so that's basically that was the main update. Other than that, I guess, yeah, it was basically those are the only things that really were note to me, at least. Yeah, so the increase isn't going to change much, I don't think. Even if you see this, like, whatever it's called, it's like 30% more, and that's only during counters, so it's only going to really come into play either a Titan port's next to you and you don't have time to switch your phalanx, or you're in a gangbang and you're just kind of got to pick the best one. So you might have to go look at what they're sending in the gangbang and just basically pick the best one. Either go what's called infantry or range. So either sit in infantry or range, or maybe even go into a what's called that. But I don't think Wedge is going to do much, because usually if you're taking hits as a solo trap, they're not going to get into your back. Like, they're not going to take out a whole squad. Like, you have way too many troops. At least you should have way too many troops for them to take out a squad. So that's my current comp. Oh, sorry, I have things in my infirmary still. I didn't heal after the Cupid hit, so that I still have the exact same thing in my infirmaries right now. So, but that's basically my comp right now, and I do have stuff in my sanctuary, mostly because the gangbang, they timed that gangbang really well, which you'll get the video coming out pretty soon, so you get to see that. But I did end up getting a bunch of in my sanctuary, which is really nice because I can pull up more troops and keep my might lower if I want. Yeah, I'm at 150 mil, but that's obviously because I have 400,000 in my infirmaries and 2, so I'm probably around 153, but Otherwise, it should be enough. You might just want to have more troops in your front line just because you might be taking more damage from a full counter, and then you probably don't want to lose troops in your front line too much. So that's the only thing we might have to do is have a bigger front line. And then because you're gonna be taking a little bit of extra losses, but the Sanctuary should be able to hold those, so you should be okay anyways, as long as you're not getting burned and all that. So otherwise, I think the update's totally fine. It's totally within the parameters of our current traps setup. Again, my trap was already pretty strong, so it's kind of overpowered anyways. But other than that, it's pretty much in the parameters of what we were before. And then we got some extra quick swaps, which is really, really nice. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, you also probably saw on my post, I did get a gold jewel. That was actually on my rally trap, not on this account. So my gear is still kind of the same here. I've got like 205 range, 159 infantry, and 173 cav on my gear, and then 36% HP. Again, I am running free-to-play gear, so the HP is a little bit lower than if you had full pay to play. I could technically go Firewall Plate just for that extra HP. That'd be the only difference on my gear right now. Again, I was waiting for these to get one of these to get purple, but still haven't got them, so I haven't put them in my set. I'm still really far away from that. Don't know if I ever get those ones, honestly. It's going to take too long. I do have a purple Frostwing Greatsword, which I could switch out now. But still, I like the free-to-play. It looks really nice. Honestly, the stats aren't really that much different. The Scimitar is best until you get the gold gloves anyways, and I won't get those for a long time. And then rings and stuff, I could get my scroll up. That's basically it. Actually, I have a ton of brains, actually. So I was actually looking maybe to get a purple Skull Crusher or something instead, but I'll see what I want to do there. But yeah, other than that, the update is pretty much basically same as always. You're going to take a little more damage in a counter and about the same in a non-counter, so it doesn't really change much that way. As long as you don't get countered, you should be fine. Or at least you don't get countered a ton of times in a gangbang, you should be fine. Other than that, don't worry about it. You guys should be set up for that as long as you have a strong comp already. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.